Hey viewers, welcome to another game of Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing a game between niSgnawH, I can't read what that says, as the Protoss in the bottom right, versus MillDayshi as the Terran in the bottom left. So Protoss versus Terran should be interesting. Protoss versus Terran, of course, varied matchup like many of them, although, well, we do see kind of two item choices or two tech choices for Terran, where there's only really one tech choice for the Protoss. Protoss plays as a more reactionary race here. They're going to go for a few gateways, obviously, and then one robotic facility, which will produce either immortals against tanks, or they will produce come on, what are they called? The Colossi versus Medevac Marine, I should say. Of course, when the Marauders come in, the Colossus is still useful, but it's not as useful as the Immortal would be, because the Immortal actually does 2.5 times damage to armored units, which is a whole lot, of course. So instead of 22, it will do 55, and that basically just 2 shots everything, and it will do really well. But of course, the Immortals are super crappy against the Marines, because the shield will do nothing, and well, they don't have a lot of HP, so they will go down very quickly, because they only do 22 damage then, and that's not a whole lot. I mean, you have to shoot 3 times to kill a Marine, and the Marine will, or the Marines will flood in big numbers. So anyway, the barracks coming out after the expansion goes down, and that's of course because this is a 4-player map. So the Terran player definitely not expecting the scout this early, but it seems that the Protoss player got lucky and got the scout off at the first try. And he basically has a 1 in 3 chance that his opponent is indeed in that spot, and a 1 in 2 chance that he scouts the right direction, because nobody's going to scout cross positions. That would be crazy. So normally you scout either clockwise, so like he did, or counterclockwise, which would mean he would have met this base in the 3rd position. But this is why there's a second barracks coming up, because with this early scout, the Protoss might actually send in some troops. But yeah, well, it's not going to happen against double racks, and double racks should be able to hold off pretty nicely. So we will see 2 orbital commands coming up, and the orbital commands are of course only built after the barracks come up, because that is what you need. 3rd barracks coming up, so we are going for Medevac Marine Marauder, and yeah, we will have the reaction from the Protoss player pretty soon. He did see that the 2nd barracks went up, so he might actually also see that that the 3rd barracks goes up at some point. But for now, he's going to assume that, and he's going to assume that this is not a factory build. So he's going to go for those Colossi, and of course Colossi are, as I said, very good against the Marines, and they're not really bad against the Marauders either. I mean, they don't do a lot of damage to them, but well, that's quite alright. They still have the range advantage, so all in all, they should still do pretty well. So we have a reasonable group of Marines already out, and with these 7 Marines, he should be able to pressure the Protoss player straight away. There's only 1 Stalker out for now, and of course there is going to be a little bit extra out. Yeah, there's the first sentry, and by the time that this Protoss player builds up, those Marines are not going to do a whole lot anymore. But for now, it should still work. So if he goes in right now, and he does know where his opponent is, because he scouted the right direction too, and yeah, because of that, he is actually able to send in those Marines, and he will run into this watchtower, of course, and the watchtower will spot that there are Marines coming. In the meantime, we see the mothership core just going into the base. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage. It takes, what, 5 shots? Yeah. So it takes 5 shots to take that down, and a few Marines should be able to to do this pretty nicely. Of course, the Marines get picked up in 5 shots as well. So, yeah, unless he has the Marines kind of timed, so he has 5 Marines coming out at the same time, attacking this mothership core, it's going to be pretty effective. As you can see, it's taking out a pretty nice amount of workers, but it's not going to be very effective yet. There you go, it picked off something like 2 Marines and 2 SCVs. So it's not super effective, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So I didn't see what the Marines did. We can actually see it here. He actually picked off 7 drones. Wow. That is probes, sorry. That is actually quite a lot. So the robotics facility coming out, placed in the forward position, because he doesn't want to run, have to run all the way to there. And of course the warp gates, yeah, it doesn't matter where you build those, because you can warp in the units wherever you like. The thing is, with the robotics facility, this forward, that it can get sniped pretty easily. So if a group of Marines comes in, it can easily snipe this robotic facility, because he will see that the moment he comes up the ramp. And if it's over here, it will be way harder to snipe, because you have to run all the way through the base and snipe it. It just takes longer. You have a longer time to defend it, and yeah, blah blah blah. Whatever. You get the point. So we do have some Stalkers coming up. We have Blink coming up. And we do have Stimpack on the other side coming up. So with this many Marines, he really needs to start working on those medevacts. He is going to, but the medevacts will not be out by the time Stimpack is out. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer, but he is going for 2 of them right now. And of course, as long as he doesn't use the Stimpack, it doesn't matter that it's upgraded. So he's not going to lose too much. But yeah, a couple of Marauders already in there. The Marauders are of course excellent against the Stalkers. Stalkers do extra damage versus armored, but it's only 40% extra. It's not a huge amount. 40% seems like a lot, but yeah, from 10 to 14, that's not too much. I mean, what are they called? This one, Immortals. The Immortals do 150% extra damage, and I will show you that right now. 20 to 50, yeah, 22. I realized that halfway through my my comments earlier, that the 22 is indeed when you have an upgrade in your ground thingies, not armor, but ground weapons, I guess. I don't know what they're called, but I guess they're called ground weapons. So we do have an observer out here. It did spot the army coming in. It is going to keep an eye on this as well. The 2 medevacts coming in, and oh, taking a little bit of damage, but that is not enough to destroy it, obviously. And yeah, the observer not following these troops. So we're going to have to wait to see what he does. Oh, the blink comes out. Yeah, he wanted to be in the right position when this drop comes in, but this drop is not going to happen. So the observer is not going to follow the medevacts, which I definitely would have done. But I guess he wanted to keep an eye on what's happening in the front of his base, and while he keeps an eye on that, he's not too worried about the back of his base. So the drop happens right here. And is it going to pick off anything? Because, well, he is going to pick off a few of these, these zealots, but zealots really don't matter. He loses a couple of Marines in the process, so it's kind of an equal trade. And as you can see, the medevacts are getting pretty low. The attack coming in now from the Protoss player, really aggressive moves, and if he can get those shots from the Immortals on the right guys. Oh, locking himself in with those force fields. Yeah, if he can get the attacks on those Marauders with the Immortals, then he can definitely do very well. The slow is already out here, so the concussive shells already out for the Marauders, and it is going to help out quite a lot. The pylon is going to go down, making sure that he can reinforce this very quickly. And we do have a mothership core with it to make sure that we can recall, because the mass recall is of course a very good tool in this case to just get your army out of there. and make sure that you can defend your base and, well, can get out with your more vulnerable troops. Of course, the Stalkers aren't really vulnerable at all. They can blink out. They can do pretty well. And oh, the fields going down. The time fields. I forgot what they're called. Time warp fields. And here we go. The one Stalker that sorry, not Stalker, Colossus that was there gets picked off immediately, and the second one actually catches the Vikings while they land. So he's going to be very, very strong here. The SCVs come out to defend, but it is going to be over right here. The Protoss not building anything anymore. Currently just microing, it seems, and really not doing anything else. There comes the build once again, and of course with the warp gauge you only need to remember every now and then that you need to warp in new units. But no upgrades coming out here. So he's a little bit too busy, I think. And there we go. We are going to retreat a little bit. And whoa, so many High Templar coming out. It's going to be 3 Archons. And Archons can of course take a lot of damage. So he might actually be able to get that damage on. 28 workers killed now. So with these Archons, he should be able to absorb a lot of the damage. And if he can absorb the damage, he can do the damage as well. But the third base is already out for the Terran player, sorry. The Protoss player does not have a third base out yet. And that means that he is getting out-farmed quite a lot. So we do have a fight going off over here. But look at that. There's a 700 to 1200 difference in the mineral intake. And the gas intake is still the same, or similar at least. It's a little bit higher for the Terran player, but he didn't really have that third base, the gas mining yet. I guess he only has one of those geysers capped, and he's going to get the second one in a moment, I believe. Because, well, gas is a very important resource for any race. And look at that, getting the units picked off one by one. And here we go. Yeah, last stand, I guess, for the Protoss player. Because if he loses this, yeah, he's going to have to GG. And that is indeed what happened. So even though he did a great job in that, killing workers, he just didn't expand. And he got killed because of that. So very nicely played by the Terran player, who got an early advantage. So really early on, he was the aggressor and took a third base immediately. When he could, and then the Protoss player took over and saw his opportunity, because he saw that he actually had an advantage in the troops, but could not pressure that in or press that into his advantage. And by this time, yeah, too many troops are coming out. Look at the amount of Marauders. That is just very, very nice. The Marauders, of course, are very good against the Stalkers and very good against the Immortals, although the Immortals are also very good against the Marauders, so they can kill each other, but the Marines will kill the Immortals in no time flat. I mean, it is just instant death for the Immortals. And yeah, that's exactly what happened here. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG!